In the last video, we looked into what is prompt engineering and why it's really important. In this video, we'll look into different types of prompt engineering like zero shot and few shot prompt engineering. And we'll also look into what are the different tasks you can achieve using prompt engineering. Let's start with zero shot prompt engineering. So zero shot prompt engineering is when you give a task to a large language model and it responds with its own internal memory. Let's take an example. If you prompt what are three good books, it will give you the answer of these three good books, but this answer comes from its own memory, meaning that it will find out these answers from its pre-training phase. Let's understand why this method is so powerful. When we prompt a sentence to translate from English to French, the model is able to translate it very accurately. Now, for a moment, let's think backwards and understand how we used to do this traditionally. We needed a lot of annotated training data to achieve such task. In this case, we would need a lot of translation annotated data to achieve this task. But here, the model is able to do all the kind of different tasks like classification, translation, or question answering with just right instruction. But there is a challenge with these large language models as well. These large language models are non-deterministic, meaning that they do not always obey your instructions. Let's look at some of these cases when a zero-shot learning fails. Now let's assume that you are working in an insurance company and this insurance company has two different insurance types. One is car insurance and one is flood insurance. Now your job is to identify where users are asking most of the queries, and then you can improve the product documentation and provide suggestions so that you receive less of the query. Here we need LLM to act as a classifier. The output of the LLM then be ingested via a downstream process so that you can do a basic statistics. Here we have class 1 as a car insurance, class 2 as a flood insurance, and maybe class 3 not really relevant. So let's try the prompt. Now we'll prompt that classify customer questions into three categories. Category 1, 2, and 3. Here are the details. So choose 1 if it's about car insurance, choose 2 if it's about flood insurance, and choose 3 maybe if the question is not relevant. And then you give your question that my tire got busted. Is it covered in my insurance or not? And then you expect a topic from your model. Now, in this case, the model does give correct answer, but as you can see that we have got lot more information with the answer than we would have expected. This answer cannot be ingested by a downstream process. Let's look at some of these reasons where we should use a different kind of technique than zero shot. Let's understand where zero shot learning fails. Here are two cases when a zero shot learning fails. Imagine that your downstream process has to ingest a very complex JSON format. And it's very difficult to explain these large language models how you want your output structure. In such cases, zero shot learning would fail. Or imagine you are rating a tweet from 1 to 5, 1 being very bad, 5 being good tweet. Now your model always gets confused between what is very bad and what is bad, right? Here, the better technique is few shot learning. The few shot learning is very simple. You give couple of examples and then you ask your prompt. In this example, you are doing a sentiment analysis and you are giving couple of examples like great product, 10 on 10, positive. You are giving both input and output to a model and you are giving couple of examples and then you ask your uh, product review and you expect an answer from a model. This is also called as in context learning. In context learning, you give few example tasks to a model and the model learns those tasks at an inference time. Now let's try using few shot learning on our previous prompt. Now we give customer questions and topics as couple of more examples, and then we again give customer question and we expect a topic from the model. And this time around, the model has just given us what we need. And this can be utilized into a downstream task. Let's formalize this process. How to create a few shot prompt. So the first is your instruction. So you provide a high level task information, description or guidelines of that problem. So in this case, we have given saying that customer needs, we want to classify this into three categories. What is category 1 to 3? The next is you give examples. Now, it is really important to give diverse set of examples. The order of example matters. Do not give too many examples of one particular class, then you will be overfitting the prompt. For question answer task, you can actually involve an external information. This could be very beneficial to the prompt. And at the end, you would use a user input and you would use an incomplete entry to get an answer. In the next video, we'll look into different tasks which we can achieve using prompt engineering. Thank you.